Backwoods family. It's Aubrey, your event director and festival fairy godmother, and welcome to Behind Backwoods. I am so happy to have Andy Frasco here with me. Good morning, Andy.
I like that your job name is fairy godmother. That's pretty tight. I want to
Well,
be.
it wasn't official through Backwoods. It was for me being an old school festie, and that was just kind of the alter ego that I took on. So, hey, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Aubrey. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So just to get to know you a little bit, Andy, if you were to describe yourself as a human and you can't use the words musician or artist, how would you describe yourself in the hats you wear?
Oh man, that's a good question. A listener. I think I'm always listening to people. Try to heal them with communication. I help heal people get through depression, mental health, crises, existential moments. But saying a healer sounds way too fucking pretentious. So I think
It's a common thing that people use that term a lot in these days. So there's all different sorts of healers, and I believe music is medicine. So when you said that, I was like, whoa, I would have never expected you to use that word, but I can totally see it.
I'd consider myself like a moonshining doctor. I didn't get educated the proper way of being a doctor, but I feel like what my band does and what we do as musicians also helps people get through their day. So I'd say like backwoods doctor.
I think had we been born into a different day and time, maybe it might have been medicine man of the tribe.
There we go, medicine man. I'm here to just break down that fifth wall between the fans and the musicians and let people know that we're going through the same shit y'all are going through. We want to have a good time. We want to heal. We want to get out of our heads for a second and just be present. I think that's the beautiful part about music festivals. You're forced to be present, and if we could just take a holiday from our head for even if it's a 3-day weekend, then I think that's just as healing as eating vitamins.
Dude, like soul brother right here. You're preaching to the choir. I think I've written a blog article about that before, how to me that it's like music festivals this day. It's like this generation's church, It's like we come together to heal and
coffee.
That's okay. Go grab that coffee, man.
I totally agree. I mean, if you're a music fan, what else gets you high? What else can get you high like that? I don't know.
Dude.
Maybe like television, good television.
I don't think even good television can do that, because collective joy is something that you have to experience with other people, and you can't do that through I don't think it's as potent through a medium than in person. And I have to tell you, like, seeing how you go out into the crowd and like get in with people, like I'm getting chills just thinking about it, and hearing about you calling yourself a medicine man, that just makes it even more potent, because it's not just you going into the party, it's you like sharing your love and your energy, and it's so beautiful.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I love going into the campsites, having beers with everyone, and hearing about their life and hearing about the times that they saw me play, like Backwoods, especially because I've been playing that thing for like 8 years. That it's the early years, hearing the early year stories are pretty magical of us. Like I don't even remember the stuff we were doing, like at Fayetteville, Arkansas and stuff, and me rolling over to their house at like 4 a.m. to just have a beer with them because they messaged me on Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Talk about a fan stream come true. Well, hey,
yeah.
I want to pause for a second. We're going to talk about Backwoods in a second. Before, I want to get to know you just a little bit more as a human, because I go deep or go home. And so my question for you here is, show you a little bit of my age for a second. So my very first album I ever bought with my own money was Tiffany, I Think We're Alone Now, and it was a tape. And
Uh-huh.
my family had an 8-track player in our car. And so we would listen to a tape. It was on a boombox in the car on the way home from the store. So I'm curious to know, Andy, what was the first album you bought with your own money, and what form of technology was it on? Do you remember?
Totally. I bought 3 of them all in the same week. I remember it was, and I'm 35, so it was CDs. And it was Offspring, Bad Habit. It was Something Corporate, Leaving Through the Window, and it was Backstreet Boys Millennium. I don't know. I love that song. I want it that way, so I bought the record.
Oh my gosh, I think I just fell in love with you a little bit more right there. I was not expecting that at all.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I love pop punk, and I felt like I don't know what. I think I was chasing a girl, and she was loved Backstreet Boys. I'm like, I'm gonna try to listen to this. And I'm like, we're all in her house and we're just listening to Backstreet Boys crying and shit, singing I Want It That Way. Maybe I am gonna be in an emo band.
Right?
Yeah.
Was the piano the first instrument you ever played?
Yeah, I started playing piano when I was a senior in high school. I was in choir in high school, junior year. But yeah, I didn't really thought I was gonna be a musician until I was out of high school. I was like managing bands and booking bands and promoting bands all from like 13. And I used to DJ bar mitzvahs when I was like 13 and stuff. Like just hustle a little bit, make a little dough. But I yeah, I was managing bands, working at Drive Through Records, this pop punk record label. And then I started working for Geffen in high school and Capitol Records. And then I moved to New York and worked at Atlantic Records, booking like pop punk bands like Paramore and Gym Class Heroes. And then I got over that and I said, I'm just gonna take my talents and try to learn how to play an instrument. And I Craigslisted musicians all around the country for the first 5 years, and I slowly found musicians that want to just live on the road with me. And then now, 15 years later, I'm still out here doing it. But at least I have a
Wow.
band. I don't have to like go on Craigslist and shit like a
Right? When
shady
did
like I'm looking for hookers or something.
I never thought of it that way. That's funny.
It's like this 35-year-old man looking for musicians. Like I need a guy with some long hair, skinny fingers. Sounds creepy.
I bet you met some interesting people that way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was crazy. I met 80-year-old musicians. I met like high school kids who just wanted to play music. And I think that's what got my chops up and got my entertaining up, because like some of these guys were horrible. And I just had to like work on my gab. Thank God we're playing like, shitty college bars where like they're all just wasted anyway. You can do whatever the hell you want at them. So I only had like 3 songs in my repertoire at the time. So I would just like extend these songs. I didn't know anything about jam music. I didn't know that was a thing yet. I thought it was just like doing something innovative. And then all of a sudden people showed me the Grateful Dead. Like, no, you idiot. This is what people do. They extend songs. I'm like, oh, word. Respect.
Right? Well,
Hey,
how
in LA, there wasn't the Grateful Dead. There wasn't Fish. There was none of that. It was more, following the rabbit's tail of what's popular at the moment. Backstreet Boys, fucking NSYNC, Offspring, Weezer. They weren't jamming out tunes. They were just doing their songs.
Absolutely. So at what point in the game did you start writing your own music? And could you share a little bit of your process with us?
I always wrote music. I'm not one who really likes to like learn covers. I'll do like snippets of them in my songs, like to fill time and give everyone that like, oh, that's cool. But ever since I was, I always used to write. I remember doing this too, like when I was like, well, I grew up in California where it was just sunny all the time. So when it rained, I thought it was like the apocalypse. I thought like, and I was also scared of Jesus, so I wouldn't go outside. And like he was after me because I was Jewish. So I was like, I saw Passion of the Christ too early in my life, and so like I wouldn't go outside and shit. So when I every time I thought Jesus was around or the weather was there, I'd write down like these like, if this is the last day on earth type poems. I'm like, my mom read them like, these are dark, but they're actually they're kind of like poems. And she's like, maybe you should like start writing songs. So I started writing songs through these poems of my anxiety because I'm so neurotic. I'm way less neurotic than I was, but I'm still super neurotic about everything. So I turned that neurotic energy into songs. And I think that's and then once I learned how to do melody and piano and stuff and learn rhyme, it's helping me with, writing poems and stuff. But it was first just my brain, just like, this is overload. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. And I didn't like keeping all those scared thoughts in my head. So I'd write them down or like put them in a voice memo. And that kind of helped me clear my head a little bit.
This is not a question I was planning to ask you, but because you just said this, you're like speaking my language right now. So have you ever heard the idea that like, creativity is a form of spirituality and it's a form of therapy? And so as you're saying that, I'm like thinking, of course you wrote songs if you were a tormented child. I mean, do you find that writing music is a form of therapy for you?
Yeah, I think all the stuff I do is a form of therapy, or I wouldn't do it. I love music. I love I do I interview people, and I think interviewing is like made me become a better listener as well. So I'm learning how to, not be so fucking selfish and stuff, and that helps with my therapy of, finding yourself. And yeah, all the art things I do. Like I remember I would start all these businesses when I was a kid. Like I would like start a flag football rec league because I wanted my friends to all be together and have community. And then I'd do summer camp. I'd be camp counselors at summer camp. And I felt like all that stuff is just as artistic as, writing songs for people because you're helping people stay present. And I think that's what songs do. Sometimes songs let you think about the past and stuff, but at first, when you first hear that song that you really love, you're so present, you're hearing every word, you're hearing every rhythm. Anything I do, I try to do to stay present. So yeah, I think you're totally onto something there.
Well, I got into this industry because I was the yoga teacher at music festivals. So you talking about presence, that's my jam. So thank you for sharing a little bit deeper part of yourself through that.
Yeah, I appreciate
yeah. So, okay, back to the music festival thing. I'm curious.
Okay.
Before you ever performed at a music festival, did you ever attend music festivals as just an attendee?
No, I didn't know they existed. Oh, no. Yeah, no, that's a lie. I didn't know overnight festivals existed. I was doing the Warped Tour, the Vans Warped Tour, since I was like 12 years old. My mom used to drop me off at the Warped Tour. It was like so do you know what the Warped Tour is?
No, but like my intuition's telling me it's like Edge Fest or something like that.
Yeah, it's like okay. Rock Fest, Edge Fest. Yeah. It's like, it's like the Casualties and Under Oath and Offspring and all the rock bands, but be done by midnight. So I was like, my mom would just like drop me off and pick me up, and then I started driving. So I never really like took drugs or drank until I was like in the 20s. So like I was always the sober driver because I was like an athlete. I frowned upon drugs. Some of my friends did drugs and shit. I'm like, now, then I had a 10 years where I was being frowned upon about taking drugs, but we all learn. But yeah, I loved music. I would go there. I'd watch every show. It was like 110 degrees. I would just go and watch every show in the sun, all the side stages, I was a big fan of finding bands. And I think that's the best part about music festivals is like finding bands that you never, would even thought of liking,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is me being vulnerable. I'm an EDM girl at heart. So I found you through the Backwoods community
Oh,
and other artists like that. Yeah, through the Backwoods community. And I found myself like digging on you so hard because of your upbeat energy and positivity through your lyrics. And so had I never gone into the festival community, I might not have ever found your music. So I completely understand what you're talking about. So
um,
what was the,
same
go ahead.
boat, same boat, same boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
What
I
was
love
the
going and walking around the festivals. Like I can't stay backstage. Like I love my friends, but my music friends, but they're all boring as shit sometimes. Like I ain't trying to talk about our careers, you know, over like some like shitty catering. I want to go in the crowd. I want to eat the hibachi with the people. I want to go out there and watch some music, and slam some beers with the fans.
Dude, I feel that. I feel that because whenever I finally got an opportunity to get down at Backwoods, I was not on the VIP platform stand like some of the other like work. I was like down riding the rails with my friends because we like get festy at heart. So I totally get
Oh,
that. Yeah.
oh,
So
yeah.
what was the first fest you ever performed at?
Wakarusa at Mulberry
Oh,
Mountain.
yes. Which
Or I
one?
think
What
it was
year?
Harvest Fest. Harvest Fest was the first one they booked us. It was
Okay.
Harvest Fest and summer camp. We got two in the same weekend or two in the same year. I think it was like '08. And I couldn't believe what the fuck was going down in the Mulberry Mountains. I was like, this is I had never seen no Arkansas shit like that before. I was like, I didn't even know
Was
Arkansas.
Harvest
I
Fest
never
on
hung.
Mulberry?
What?
Was Harvest Fest on Mulberry?
Yeah, it was the fall festival of Wakarusa. So it was like Yonder Mountain String
Oh,
Band and leftover salmon and like Arkansas. So it was like felt like, because I never heard of bluegrass. So I felt like I was in the hills as eyes. I was like, whoa, these people are just playing these things called banjos and shit. I didn't know the fuck a banjo was. I go in the crowds. I was just like, look at everybody, and they'd be like drinking moonshine and having like southern accents. I'm like, these are my people. Like how you don't even know who
mm-hmm,
your
mm-hmm.
people are until you just like be in their presence.
Oh yeah. Oh
These are
yeah.
my people. And then for the 10 years I'd play in Arkansas, I'd play like 4 or 5 shows a year in Arkansas. I played George's, was opening for like Ben Miller band and stuff and all this crew. I'm like, Arkansas, these are my folk, dude. They get me. Like, I don't know. They just understood me. And then I lived in Arkansas. I lived in Fayetteville for like 6 months, 7 months. Just because of the
Whoa.
Mulberry Mountain. It's crazy.
So what can you recall what year that would have been? Because my first Wakarusa was 2012. That was my first camping music festival, and Mulberry Mountain changed my life. So I'm just curious to know if you were vibing
Like,
there
yeah,
about the same time.
2011, 2010,
Okay. Okay.
right
Okay.
when it moved from Kansas to Mulberry Mountain. Because we never
Okay.
did the Kansas one, but we were the first 2 years at the mountain.
Okay, well, who knows? I might have run across one of your
Yeah,
sets at Wakarusa,
probably
but
like that.
yeah, but I was diving back into trying drugs again. So like maybe I was off in the ether somewhere. You
Oh,
never
that's when I
you
first found out what cocaine was at the Mulberry Mountain. So yeah, the rest is history. So we probably went like this.
yeah, we probably went like this for sure. And I didn't know I was the festival fairy godmother yet. So I didn't know that my job was to be there and spreading the love and the good
Yeah.
vibe. So I was just trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. But I mean, Mulberry Mountain is such a magical place, right?
It is. And it's just when I first saw in the fall when the leaves were changing and stuff. And now seeing it in the summertime, it brings such a joy and beauty to people. And yeah, I mean, you could tell by everyone's faces, they're smiling, they're having a good time. I mean, they're sleeping in a tent, like dirty as hell, and they're like still laughing and smiling and not even worried about any of that stuff. And that's the beauty and power of the mountain. I mean, I've never seen. There's a couple campgrounds that are kind of like that for festivals, like Electric Forest, this, summer camp. I mean, that are just like really magical spots for people to, you know, shed a couple layers of their onion to be themselves,
You know about the crystals in the earth in Arkansas, right?
I don't know.
Arkansas is like one of the only places in the States where you can go mining for crystals. And there's
Oh, wow.
literally quartz crystals in the earth in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I swear, I could be wrong, I could be making this shit up, but I swear that a big part of Mulberry Mountain's magic is literally the quartz that's in the earth in Arkansas. Because if you geek out and study crystals, you'll know that quartz is like an energetic conduit that you put it by other things to raise its vibration and to raise its energy. And so that's what I think.
I totally believe in that shit. Like Sedona, Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
got some magic in there, like some energy. I feel that shit in my toes. You're
Right.
probably right. You're 100% right, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're gonna feel it next
Oh,
time.
I'm gonna learn now, Queen. I'm
Yeah,
gonna learn now.
that's right. That's right. That's right. So this past Backwoods, did you see any sets? If so, who'd you see?
Did I see any sex?
Any sets? Any sets?
Oh,
Not any sex.
I'm like,
Any
damn, it's
sets?
too early to talk about that, Queen. Uh, I
Any
saw some like
sets?
look sex in the bushes or something. No, I didn't see that.
No. I'm not going there. I'm not going
Thank
there.
you. Thank you. Mike, what did I see any sets? No. We got
Okay.
in because it's like 2 hours away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all my friends are on that fest. I wish I got there Thursday to see Big Gigantic. Those guys are my fucking boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, they picked us up. We're on this schedule right now where we're doing 3 festivals a weekend. So we play, they drive us to the airport, we fly to the next town, and we're doing 3 fests a weekend. Or so, and they're all across the country. So like we basically play, they transport us to the hotel where our 5 a.m. flight, because we're normally the late night band. And that's why I was so thankful that Backwoods gave us 7 o'clock this year. Because like I'm getting too old to play these fucking 5 a.m. sets, Queen.
I feel that. I'm too old to be the one who's staying up till those sets, It's like now that I'm the event director, like I'm supposed to stay awake until the stage shuts down. And I'm like, this girl's got to teach yoga in the morning. I gotta go to
know.
bed,
I bet. I
man.
mean, shit. I bet yoga's like that's like an early morning. People like doing yoga right when they wake up. Like I bet you
That's
have like
like at 11 though. And for music festivals, it's usually about 11, which is still pretty early, but not too bad,
Oh
not
God,
too
that's
bad.
extremely early for a fest. Like people are up to like 7 a.m.
Feel that. I feel that. So out of curiosity, you're talking about being at Backwoods for like years. Do you remember the first Backwoods that you were at? Was it in Oklahoma? Was that the first one you did?
First Backwoods was in Oklahoma. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
before they moved to Mulberry, we did Backwoods. God, I forgot about the Oklahoma years of Backwoods. Yes.
I wasn't a
remember that
Backwoods
with
girl
Mound
then.
Sprout, and like it wasn't as much EDM as it was now. It was more like, Mound Sprout, Ben Miller Band, and then a lot of bands from St. Louis, like and then like maybe like the swag or the swag. What are they called? The
The
swag.
swag. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I remember that. What was that at Astro Valley? Was it in Astro?
No, I think Astro Valley is in Missouri.
Oh yeah, that's that cosmic.
It's reconnection that happens in Astro Valley. But yeah,
Where
I
in
wasn't.
Oklahoma was it again? I forgot.
I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't with Backwoods back then, so I'd have to go back and do my research to tell you. I got to be with Backwoods because I have a love affair with Mulberry Mountain, and so when Waka
Nice.
left, I started paying attention and watching for when Fest moved up there, and so and did whatever I could to be a part of it once they moved back up to Waka, back up to Mulberry, because I wanted to be a part of that mountain.
Wasn't Backwoods? It wasn't always at Mulberry. It was somewhere else,
No.
right?
Yeah. I would say it was
farm or something.
I think so. I'll have to go back and circle back and look at. I think in the first interview that I dropped with Will Royal, he was talking about the original place in Oklahoma, but I can't tell you the name of the venue off the top of my head.
Sick.
So
God,
now it's going to be driving me nuts,
now, especially with how hard music festivals. Everyone's like dropping like flies. All these music festivals are dropping like flies. That how big of a history Backwoods has, and how many people care about that festival to keep it going, because it is a lot of work to take to keep a music festival around. So I gotta tip my hat to him and everyone who does this.
Well, we really appreciate that. We really appreciate that. And before we go, I want to ask, do you have any message that you'd like to share from your heart to the Backwoods community? Because we love you.
Yeah. When you're feeling low, when you're feeling down, we're gonna have these shitty days in our life. We're gonna have days where we lose our jobs, maybe lose our lover, or maybe just not feeling secure about who we are inside. Just remember those times at Backwoods when we were free, smiling, laughing, and being ourselves, to know that whatever you're going through, it's going to pass.
Yeah.
So we have the best times at these festivals, and then we have these shitty times sometimes when we're having our regular life, and we forget that happiness is around the corner. So I just don't want people to forget that.
That's deep, man. That's deep. I love it. I love it. And hey, before we say goodbye officially, where can people find you? You said something, maybe you have a tour coming up. Like, do some self promo, bro.
Just look for a Jufro on the internet. You'll find me. I'm like the only Jew in the bluegrass community. You'll find me.
Jew in the bluegrass community. I freaking love that so much. Andy, you are an absolute delight. Thank you for getting your ass out of bed for me.
Sorry, it took me
three
different schedules to get me on this fucking podcast. I'm normally not like this. This has just been the busiest time of my life, and I appreciate you being patient. Some people are like, "Fuck this guy," so I appreciate it. I'm never like this, though. I hope you know that.
Well, something tells me you and I could be friends. So I'm so happy that we made this connection. Yep. And I look forward to the next time our paths cross. Maybe we'll actually meet next time.
You in Arkansas? Were you Fayetteville or?
I'm in North Fort Worth. I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth. So
cool. I'm out there all the time. Yeah.
Well, anytime you do a show, I'm there. I'm there.
Bring it on. Good to see you.
Thank you so much.